I just keep watching you hit shit and have no reaction. And that's how I know how dead you are on the inside. I did, like, when we were talking earlier, I just kept watching you hit the mic stand and just not react.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, man, that's tough. That's tough.
It doesn't hit me anywhere weak. If I hit myself somewhere weak, I'm
he's just built strong.
Like, if I'm throwing down pallets, sometimes I'll just kick them with my shin, and that hurts.
Why? Just to feel something?
Just because it happens. I can't do anything about it.
See, when you said I just kick them, I thought you purposely just kick your fucking shin into the pallets.
Nah.
I'm like, what's wrong? Like, are you okay?
I literally just, like, I basically fall on it and, like, hurt myself. Fuck! It hurt. And I don't know if you saw it at one point, because I was stalking so much, I was, like, doing the like, organic girl salads and shit, or I was doing...
Those shit slice your fingers up.
Yeah, I have to reach all the way in, so my entire forearm, was covered in just little scratches here and there. Just because I just really fast do it all real quick, because you can, and it's like...
Fun?
I don't know, I just want to get it done. And because there's a lot of shit to do in the Whole Foods produce, especially my Whole Foods produce.
It's because it's fucking huge.
It's gigantic.
It's so comically big. Yeah, no, those organic girls will fuck your shit up, bro. What color?
It's not even the...
What color is Red Bull?
Red.
The liquid?
Yeah.
I never knew what the color of Red Bull was. I saw you drink it, and I saw a little bit of liquid, like, and it looked weird.
Oh, fuck. It's red in concentration. It's mostly clear.
Okay. He just poured that into his water. You're a psychopath.
It's just fucking watered down Red Bull. It's not gonna do anything.
It's gonna taste like ass.
Now you just get the tang.
That's so yucky. Alright, you want to continue?
I am the Red Bull guy now, by the way. Apparently.
I just wasn't aware Red Bull had you chemically.
I had it once. It was like, damn, actually, this tastes good. Now I'm like, I just want to drink it all the time.
I told you about my friend that drank Red Bull 5-hour vodka, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine doing that, unironically, and not dying. That's crazy. Four Loko smile. Me and the boys dying of alcohol poisoning.
Pretty sure I would have died
of
that Four Loko would have killed me if I was of drinking age at the time.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. Alright, you ready?
Yeah.
Gamer. After hanging up on Shion, I searched for Rika-chan's phone number on my school contact list. You want to move the mouse? There it is. My fingers trembled with urgency, and I failed multiple times to put in the simple 5-digit number.
They can't see that.
Fuck you.
I moved the mouse. I moved the mouse is what happened, and he laughed at it.
I also think it's very funny Keiichi fucked up putting the 5-digit number in there.
Yeah. Keiichi, are you calling someone at this hour? It's late. It's being rude to the other person.
Is there supposed to be no sound right now? Or did I hit a button?
Ooh, your sound, don't worry.
Oh my god, it just stresses me out whenever the game does it.
Don't worry, you're not the first.
That doesn't matter right now. I shouted angrily at my mother, listening to the dial tone. Pick up, come on, pick up. Do I have to hit enter every time for it to ring again? The time was 11 p.m. It certainly wasn't early. It was essentially the middle of the night.
Leonardo DiCaprio meme.
Dude, if it was like 30 more minutes, we'd be there.
24. I'm cutting that anyway.
I'm going to eat you alive. I'm literally going to kill you. Had Rika-chan already gone to bed? Her phone would be ringing constantly, though, so would she get back up for me? Rika-chan didn't pick up. She didn't pick up. She didn't pick up. Maybe she just happened to miss it. Maybe her bed was just too far away from the phone. The sound of the phone ringing gets clearer and clearer the longer you go on sleeping. Then, the bathroom? She's taking a fat shit. Oh, yeah, she must be taking a bath. If that was the case, then even if she heard the phone, she wouldn't be able to pick up.
This is before answering machines, too.
Did you know you can't get out of water to pick the phone up? It was a little late to be taking a bath, but it was possible she normally took baths right before going to bed. I'll wait 30 minutes, then try calling again. Yo! Oh wait, no, we're 30 minutes behind, that's right. Or
It'd be
23.
No, 53. Now. I'm cutting this. Cutting this entire fucking joke.
Just cut the whole playthrough, man. just put it all in the garbage. Even as I was thinking that, I called her house over and over again. I kept calling.
Don't pause.
Looking at you disgusts me. Oh, I have to do the dirty?
You know, for
I have to hide your filth?
you have to hide my filth.
I kept calling, over and over again. I kept calling her, but she didn't pick up even once. I think I kept trying for about 30 minutes. Yet, she wasn't picking up. You know, you could just, like, go over there, right? Were my phone calls so persistent that she had gotten scared of picking up the receiver? No, that couldn't possibly be it.
No, he's just overthinking it.
There was no point in doing this any longer. The best thing to do would be to go there in person. Where was Rika-chan's house, though? Shit! I've never even asked her where she lived! She lives at the shrine, right?
Yeah. But where on the shrine?
Oh, it's that big.
Yeah.
Her residence was written there in the contact list, but it was an address with mostly numbers, so I couldn't tell where it was just by reading it. Isn't there a map or something in here? Rika Furude. Her last name was Furude. It was a bit of an odd last name, so it might be easy to find. I love this song because you can hear when it loops. Because it's like, da-na-na-da-da, pause. Da-na-na-na. Yeah. Thinking that, I rummaged around the drawer with the phone book, but could only find things like takeout menus and phone numbers for public establishments.
Takeout menu.
Oh, shit. I tore one thing after another out of the drawer, but I didn't come up with any clues as to where Rika-chan's house was. How come he didn't get Shion's number? Calm down, Keiichi Mayabara. If you don't know, then just ask. Ask someone who does know.
Like every time, it's just like, yeah, I'll call you again next time. I'll call you tomorrow night. And it's like,
smile.
And he just doesn't think it's like, oh, can I get your number?
Ah, that's right. Rena's gotta know. I looked up Rena's phone number on the contact list. Rena Ryugu. There she was. Does she live alone?
No.
Oh, you scooched because you actually have to voice things. That means Rena picked up the phone.
Keep going. Yeah, you voice this guy.
Hello. This is Ryugu.
This fucking Squidward? What the fuck?
Yeah. It was the voice of a grumpy sounding man.
It's fucking Rena's dad.
Yeah.
And,
Uh-huh.
okay.
It must have been Rena's father. I'm calling in the middle of the night. I need to be polite. I'm sorry for calling so late at night. This is Mayabara. Is there any chance Rena-san is around? Rena is taking a bath. Oh? She's done? Rena. There's a friend of yours on the phone. Oh, right. Rena Ryugu was her real name, wasn't it? I'd gotten so used to calling her Rena that hearing her real name caught me a little off guard.
Hello, this is Rena.
Ah, it's me, Keiichi. Sorry for calling so late.
Huh? Keiichi-kun? What do you need at a time like this?
Oh, well, actually, I wanted to know where Rika-chan's house is. Rena seemed a little appalled that I'd call her for something like that at this hour. However, she spoke her next words seriously, as if she caught on to how urgent my need was.
Okay, sure. You know the assembly hall on the grounds of the Furude Shrine? There's a 2-story shack used for storage behind it. That's where she lives.
I couldn't immediately visualize the place, but as long as I knew she lived on the shrine grounds, I'd just have to take a look around. Got it. Thanks. Sorry again for calling so late. Apologize to your dad for me too, would you?
Okay, but Keiichi-kun, why do you want to know where Rika-chan lives?
And then he just hangs up the phone. Rena asked in an unusually sharp way, halting me before I could hang up the phone.
Hey, get fucked.
Fuck. I hesitated for a moment about whether to tell her. He was killed because I told him.
Keiichi-kun, if you're still listening, could you answer me? Why are you asking where Rika-chan lives at a time like this?
Rena affected her usual tone, but beneath her words lay a certain tension, like she knew intuitively, or like she'd sensed intuitively something was going on. What will you do, Keiichi? If it's Rena, can't I tell her? He was killed because he found out. I revealed everything, so he was killed.
You can say it.
Keiichi-kun, Rena's being serious. Please answer me.
Rena asked me once again, a tone so forceful I couldn't imagine her even ever using it normally. I was taken aback by her vigor. Rena was Rika-chan's friend too. She had the right to be concerned about Rika-chan disappearing. If I told Rena, then, even if only for a moment, I could drive away my horrifying fears. Rena, well, I can't exactly tell you why, but bless you.
It took a while.
Rena?
Yes,
Rena's tone was seriousness itself.
yes.
I didn't know how to.
Just from that tone, I could feel her saying, "No matter what you say, Keiichi-kun, I'll believe you." That subtle sense of security gave me the courage to reveal the truth. I have a feeling that Rika-chan is in danger.
You mean like a premonition? Or do you have some reason to believe she's in danger?
I really didn't have time to go back and forth with Rena about this. Still, I think listening to her calm voice soothed my pointless impatience. I don't have much reason, but yet I still hesitated. I had told Rika-chan that we had snuck into the ritual storehouse. The mayor, to whom Shion had confessed before that, had already disappeared. So it was possible that Rika-chan also... I didn't know how to explain it to Rena. While I was tongue-tied, Rena spoke up.
Sorry for asking something so weird. I thought about it, and it isn't like you need to be sure.
Rena laughed a little, seeming a bit absent-minded. I wasn't exactly in the mood to laugh, so this time I was dumbfounded. Rena continued in a cheerful yet still purposeful voice.
You're worried about a friend. I don't think you need a reason to go check on him. Even if Rika-chan was asleep and you ended up waking her up, if that was why you did it, then none of us would be mad. Get mad.
Rena, thank you.
Oh, okay then, Keiichi-kun. Just one thing. You called Rika-chan's house, right? Then you just couldn't get through, and that's why you asked me where her house is.
Yeah, that's right. I must have called her over 10 minutes.
I'm actually really fucking up.
She could just be sleeping and not have noticed.
Rika-chan's house is really small. She would definitely hear the phone ringing, even if she was asleep.
No!
Sadako-chan is there too, so there's no way neither of them would have noticed.
They're gonna kill Sadako!
No!
No! Rat!
Rat! My rat!
No! Huh? Sadako, you mean she's living with Rika-chan?
Yeah. You didn't know? Well, we can talk about that later. Anyway, if you called that much and no one answered, then something's definitely wrong.
Rena understood that the situation wasn't normal far faster than I could have ever imagined her to. It made her seem so dependable. However, the fact that Rena had acknowledged this also meant that the best case possibility of it all just being the result of my own needless fears went out the window. I'll go to Rika-chan's house right now. Will you come with me? Oh, this is Rena.
I'll go to Rika-chan's house right now. Will you come with me? I can show you the way.
Sounds good. Let's meet up at the same place as usual. I'll be waiting for you.
No, wait. I'll come get you at your house. You just wait there. And tell your family you're coming with me to Rika-chan's house, okay?
Will that be okay? We might lose time if you come here.
Did you call me Chan too? She's really dependable at times like these. If you haven't, then I'll give her a call.
My thoughts froze for a moment. Shion had just told me to be careful around Mion during our phone conversation a little while ago. If the Sonozaki main house was somehow lurking beneath the surface of the annual freak deaths, then the current heir to the family, Mion, wouldn't be uninvolved. So wouldn't that mean she wasn't uninvolved in what happened this year to Takano-san and Toмотake Flash, and also the mayor's disappearance?
Okay, bye. I'll be right over. Wait for me.
That's all Rena said before hurriedly hanging up. Now wasn't the time to be doubting Mion. I needed to make sure Rika-chan was safe. I can't wait for the reveal to be it's Mion killing Rika.
Yeah, it's all me on.
You want like a Kleenex?
Oh no, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm just tired. I'm rubbing my face.
I got changed and grabbed the key to my bike. I figured things would go more smoothly if we met up in a place we usually do before school. Rena wouldn't need to come all the way to my house. My parents would probably have objected if I told them I was leaving, so I creeped out without a word.
Just fucking ignoring
Just-
everything she told him to do.
Bye! The night was unusually warm and disagreeably humid. I think the crickets outside really add to the atmosphere. She said that Rika-chan and Sadako lived together,
I
right?
can't even hear him over these crickets.
I can hear him. You discern that certain click. Huh? Then it wouldn't only be Rika-chan. Sadako wasn't there either? Realizing what them living together really meant caused my thoughts to immediately take a turn for the worst. That can't be. Sadako is... She's got nothing to do with any of this. Even if there were a reason for Rika-chan to disappear, there shouldn't be one for Sadako.
Keiichi-kun!
Rena was really fast. She approached me on her bike at amazing speed. Her breath was ragged, painting a clear picture of just how hurriedly she had been going. Hey, Rena, let's get going.
Keiichi-kun, I thought I told you to wait at your house.
Rena's expression was all business. Was she mad? It came out of the blue and I faltered for a moment. Well, I figured it would just be faster to meet up here.
Keiichi-kun, don't you get it?
Rena shouted, clearly angry. I'd never seen Rena like this before. This is new Rena.
It's a fucking shitty ass new sprite.
Yeah, it's
Look
a
at
really
that.
shitty sprite. Dude, do I get it? What's the problem? Rena seemed to notice she was scaring me, took a couple of deep breaths, then continued as if admonishing me, but her expression didn't soften at all.
Keiichi-kun, the whole village is in an uproar now that the elder disappeared, right?
Yeah,
Now you're telling me that Rika-chan and Sadako-chan aren't where they're supposed to be, right?
yeah. That about sums it up.
Then you need to be more careful. Do you have any idea how dangerous it is to be standing out here alone in the middle of the night?
I begin to understand where Rena's anger was
Rena.
coming. Yeah, I don't know why I said Rena there. Rena's anger was coming from.
You told your family you'd be on the Rika-chan's house with me, didn't you? So that in the worst case scenario, if you and I were to disappear, people would know when and where we did.
XD. Rena was perfectly level-headed in this emergency situation. Ever since the night of the Watanagashi, every night someone had died or disappeared. On the night itself, Takano-san and Tomatake Flash met strange ends. On the next night, the elder vanished. Now, on the night after that, Rika-chan and Sadako were nowhere to be found.
I've had a rude awakening that my voice for Rena has a very hard time getting serious.
I hadn't been thinking of anyone but myself, but it wasn't enough to say that Hinamizawa was a little weird at the moment. It was, in fact, extremely strange. Rena had even anticipated our own disappearances and had told me to tell my family where I was going. I was embarrassed at my own carelessness, and the need to be embarrassed made me afraid of the night. Sorry, I didn't tell them yet.
Okay, then let's go and tell them together.
With Rena beside me, I wheeled back towards my house. Is this a new sprite or a new background?
I think so, yeah. I love this background. It gets used in so many good scenes.
No, this
actually.
is a good background. That's what I was asking. The moon seemed strangely high in the sky. A sky that was
uselessly.
uselessly vast and cold. So that no matter what, it would never seem to me like a dream. This cruel fact had already confronted me. On such a crazy night, Rena had been unimaginably dependable. Hinamizawa's metamorphosis, enough to make Rena caution me against carelessness, was, to me, the most fearsome thing of all. The moon seemed strangely high in the sky. We met up with Mion on the way, and she, of course, was unsure whether to believe me about Rika-chan and Sadako's disappearance.
Kei-chan, are you serious? I'm going to get really mad if this is a joke.
Mion was clearly displeased. If this were a joke, it wasn't very funny. I understood how indiscreet my words were. Ever since the day before yesterday, someone had either died or vanished every night. Rika-chan and Sadako disappearing after all that was something you just couldn't say, even in jest.
Me-chan, if it really is a joke, don't get mad, smile. It would be a joke after all.
Based, Rena.
We need to make sure whether it's a joke or not.
You're right. Sorry for getting upset.
However indiscreet a joke it may have been, if we learned that our friends were safe, it would end up as nothing more than a funny story. Having been warned about that by Rena, Mion gave a dry smile. The tension she felt loosening a bit. She mounted her bicycle as well. Our 3 bicycle lights flashed down the pitch black roads. They were some of the only illumination outside.
Kei-chan, why did you suddenly decide to call and ask about Rika-chan's house at a time like this?
Mion asked me the same thing that I had trouble explaining to Rena. Would it be weird to call it a premonition? I couldn't quite tell because it was dark, but I thought I could see Mion smiling very ambiguously.
Ambiguously.
I definitely understood that she wasn't convinced, though, despite the darkness. Well, I had this bad dream while I was snoozing I couldn't get out of my head.
Keiichi-kun, so did Rika-chan get kidnapped in that dream?
Well,
In that dream, I don't know.
it was more of a vague feeling sort of thing. If Rika-chan had answered the phone, I would have called you and Rena after that. Lies smoothly babbled out of my mouth, makeshift though they were. I was lying because I thought telling them I was connected to Shion would be like silently admitting we'd stolen into the ritual storehouse together that night. Mion didn't press me any further. I don't know whether that convinced her. Or maybe she figured that making sure Rika-chan and Sadako were safe would be faster than making an issue out of it. I felt relieved and immediately a little guilty. Mion hadn't really been acting any differently these last few days, but I'm still trying to distance myself from her for some reason. It was only because of what I heard from Shion and Oishi-san, that she was the successor to some kind of super extravagant gang family. No. Was I just trying to force myself to forget? Don't do that, Keiichi Maebara. Wasn't it Mion who was the first to ask about the night of the Watanagashi? In such a harsh tone at that? Have I already forgotten the terror I felt? At the time, Mion looked like someone different from the Mion I knew. When I think about that Mion, then Shion and Oishi-san's descriptions of Mion made a tiny bit more sense. That's it, isn't it? If it wasn't for how she acted that day, then I wouldn't be feeling this way towards her now. What on earth was going on with her back then? If I was conveniently thinking only of everything she had done after that, well, disregarding the very first thing, the thing I should have been looking at most, wasn't I? Do you guys start simping for Mion right now?
He's been sipping for Mion since the beginning. What are you talking about?
Well, he's been simping for Shion, hasn't he? He's been simping for the Sonozakis. Mion was pedaling her bicycle in front of me, her long hair fluttering in the wind. No matter how long I looked at her back, it never gave me answers to any of my questions. Yeah, looking at her back.
Alright, buddy. I'm cutting that.
You looked so upset when I said that to you. We went all the way to the stone stairs leading up to the shrine grounds. Of course, we weren't going to want to haul our bikes up there, so we parked them besides the staircase instead. So this is the Furude Shrine.
Mion.
Everybody comes and goes as they please, as if it were a park. But this place is actually a grand estate owned by the Furude family.
So the entire shrine is private property. It really makes you feel the passage of time. 10 or 20 years ago, it would have looked the exact same. Then wouldn't that mean that the Furude family is really old? With a history going back for generations?
Yeah, they're gone. That's odd.
Rena said something clearly disquieting, so I ran over to her. What's wrong, Rena?
Rika-chan and Sadako-chan always leave their bicycles here. See? They're gone.
I took a look around. Indeed, there were no other bicycles aside from the ones we'd taken to get here.
Couldn't they have parked them somewhere else?
Could they have brought them up the stairs?
Those girls couldn't do that, Keiichi-kun.
Just as she said, I couldn't imagine Rika-chan and Sadako lugging their bikes all the way up there. We hadn't yet knocked on Rika-chan's door, but reality was already sparking some ideas that weren't what you'd call good. Maybe they were just parked under some trees and we hadn't noticed them. I refused to believe that not being able to find their bikes here was proof they had disappeared. Let's go. There's only one way, the only way to be sure is to check their house. We all nodded and dashed up the stone steps. We passed through the red arch and came out into the shrine grounds, which was covered in neat gravel. It was so quiet here, as though the Watanagashi festival had never happened. So, where's the house that they live in?
Over here. Come with me.
Rena took the lead and sprinted off. We went towards the assembly hall behind the shrine, then looped around behind it. They end up in the storage house?
What's up? It's our house. What's up? What?
The child jumping on wood. They live right next to the storehouse.
No, they're pretty far off. No, they're pretty far off.
Alright, I'll take your word for it. In the darkness of the night. Go ahead.
It's like you got the shrine, and you got storage shed over here probably, and then probably like around back here you got like the actual.
Oh, so it's closer to the actual shrine then.
Yeah, I would say so, because you saw the actual shrine and they kind of like walked right behind it.
Okay. Gamer. In the darkness of the night.
In my
In your brain.
in
Your
my
mind palace.
Yes.
We found a small prefab 2-story shack that
Brain
looked like
map.
a warehouse.
The lights are off. Are they sleeping?
Let's knock.
Rena and Mion near it. Yeah, right? We are next to an airport. Rena and Mion neared the shack.
Oh no, that was a motorcycle. Oh my god.
Oh, never mind. Which didn't really look like a place people would live. They had such a beautiful shrine, so I'd figured they live in an equally beautiful house. It was far from what I had expected.
Rika-chan, Sadako-chan, are you there?
Rena shouted up towards the second floor. Her voice was restrained at first, but it steadily grew louder. No answer. In fact, there wasn't any sort of activity in the house at all.
They might be sleeping. Let's wake them up.
And then she shoots her gun in the air.
You know what'd be much louder? Banging on the fucking shutter door on their house.
Alright, that's really fair. Mion banged on the shutter with both hands, and the loud sounds echoed into our surroundings. They would have to notice this much noise. At what point do they break in? They would turn on the light in their room, fling open the window and yell, "What time do you think it is?" That, however, wasn't happening. There was absolutely no response. Mion stopped slamming her fist on the shutter and a sudden silence fell over us. The silence aroused terrible thoughts in us. I could feel the blood draining from my face.
It's locked. I wonder if we can get in somehow.
Rena showed no signs of stopping. It didn't look like she would admit they weren't there until we went inside and saw for ourselves. That refusal to give in gave me strength. The second-story windows wouldn't be locked. I'll give them a try.
Kei-chan, a ladder.
Mion brought over a ladder that was standing against the house. The footing was a little unstable for me to be climbing it, but Mion held the ladder firmly in place for me. And then she just lets it go and lets it break his neck on the fall.
Just like, yeah.
I hadn't climbed too many ladders. What? My inexperience with them exposed. I climbed up one step at a time and tried to open each window on the second floor.
Me-chan, I'm gonna go check the main house, just to be sure, okay? I'll be right back.
Don't leave Keiichi with Mion. Rena darted away. What? A main house? It's the Furude family's actual house.
Mion.
Oh.
It's the
Shmion.
Furude family's actual house. After her parents passed away, I think it's been left like that.
Right. Rika-chan's parents, they passed away, huh? At that point, I recalled something else. Wasn't Sadako living here too?
Valve warns, tinkering with your Steam Deck could end your life.
Sadako is also an orphan. Her parents fell from a cliff because of Oyashiro-sama's curse. Then her older brother, Satoshi-kun, he disappeared.
Satoshi. I've heard that name before. I remembered. He was the one who disappeared last year because of the curse.
Ever since then, Sadako and Rika-chan have been living in this shack. Neither of them has any family, but at least they're together. They help each other out.
Rena said main house, didn't she? Wouldn't it be easier to live there? The curtains were drawn, so I couldn't get a good look inside to see, but two young girls living together seemed like a pretty tough life.
I think she tried that at first. She said it was hard, though, because it reminded her of her parents.
I had no idea. I feel really bad for them. They were normally so cheerful at school that I never even realized an atom of this. Rika-chan and Sadako-chan, they have it hard, huh?
She's cursed.
Huh? Suddenly, Mion said something in such a low voice that it sounded like she was really cursing someone, and I didn't let it slide. I turned around on the ladder to face her and asked again. Mion, what did you just say?
I said, she's cursed.
Mion, still holding onto the ladder, brought her head up to me to look in my eyes. As soon as our eyes met, an absolute zero jolt of electricity surged through my body. Mion's eyes clouded over, and within them boiled and bubbled a stew of chaos. They whirled around and around like a raging sea, and bubbles floated to the surface. I had at some point been trapped on this ladder, like being cornered on a dead-end street. Mion, why are you making that face? I intended to follow that up with, "You're going too far with this joke," and give her a forced smile. However, on such uneven footing as I was, the only thing that came out of my mouth was a hoarse groan as I desperately struggled to not let the nausea overwhelm me.
Sadako
Hojo.
Hojo. She's been cursed by Oyashiro-sama.
Mion answers, with a response to something I never asked, as if replying to somebody else's question.
The only people who fell from the park observation platform were her parents. Only her parents, who treated her like dirt, died that day. She was the only one to survive. Then she was sent to live with her aunt, who treated her cruelly, and the aunt was killed on the night of the Watanagashi by some deviant, who beat her to death so violently her brains were everywhere, and her head had an entirely different shape by the end of it. Then, Satoshi-kun, who always protected her, he suddenly disappeared on her birthday. Someone made him disappear, even though he wasn't abusing her. This is also still Mion, right? The police judged him to have run away from home, but Satoshi-kun wasn't the kind of person who would do that. He was always earnest. He would never ask for anyone else's help. He would always drag himself through everything with hard work alone. He worked so hard he nearly ground his bones into dust. All for his one and only little sister, and yet someone made him disappear. She was the only thing he lived for, and yet someone made him disappear. Poor Satoshi-kun. He was never really rewarded, that Satoshi-kun. How ungrateful that child is. She's cursed. All who get near her suffer the same fate. The curse kills them, or the curse makes them disappear. She cannot have any relief. She cannot have any relief. It's probably Sadako's fault that Rika-chan disappeared too. It has to be it. 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 Alright, that's all I'm reading.
Chant it, bitch.
You want me to survive the rest of this? That's all I'm reading. Mion was mumbling words over and over that were no longer coherent.
Just go into like you run out of breath and stop.
That's about what I did. Her shoulders were trembling so hard that I could feel it through the ladder. I almost lost my footing, which made me realize just how far away from the ground really was. Calm down, Mion. I don't know what you're talking about. I wasn't sure if she even heard me. Mion rocked back and forth, and that rocking and trembling was becoming even more violent. Help me. The ladder, it's falling. Help me. Help. Do we hear a crash? Just then, I heard the sound of many people running towards us. Is this Keiichi? Oh, hey! Over here! I very nearly said help me outright. 4 or 5 adults, led by Rena, ran over here with flashlights.
Keiichi-kun, me-chan. Sorry I took so long. I borrowed the key.
Oh, nice one. Seems all the windows and doors are perfectly sealed. I was getting worried.
When I heard Mion talking like nothing had happened, I again felt a chill run through me. The person currently holding the ladder in its place was definitely Mion. It was the real Mion Sonozaki. Then, the person muttering to themselves, just a few seconds ago. Who was that? The person who was mumbling about terrible things like curses. Who was that? I jumped down from the ladder as if running away before Mion turned into that person who wasn't Mion a second time. The adults tried a few different keys on the keyring as they tried to open the big shutter on the first floor.
Rika-chan's house used to be a disaster shelter for the town council, so the key to the shutter is still kept in the mayor's house.
In the mayor's house, huh?
Yeah.
It's Rika-chan and Sadako's private residence now, though. Well, this is on Rika-chan's property anyway. Nobody complains about it.
Mion gave me a smile as she said that. I, however, could only return her gaze with an aghast expression. Mion was acting all too normal now, but that only contrasted all the more sharply with her earlier un-Mion-like creepiness. Bang, bam, clatter, clatter, bang. The shutter opened for the first time in a very long while. Rena located the light switch and wasted no time going inside. I followed her in.
Rika-chan, Sadako-chan, if you're here, say something.
We climbed a narrow staircase. It had looked like nothing more than a warehouse, but now that I was inside, I could feel how lived in it was. It was a person's home. Somehow, the scent of the two filled the place. This was definitely where Rika-chan and Sadako lived. The first floor doubled as a town assembly warehouse, but the second floor was a space entirely for living. Just like a one-room apartment, past the kitchen was a living room taking up about 150 square feet. Dressers, cupboards, and the like were packed into the space, and in the corner there was a huge pile of clothes that appeared to just have been taken in from drying outside. In the center of the living room was a fold-up table, and on it were small containers for things like soy sauce and salad dressing. The sense of a frugal lifestyle drifted from all of it. It was strange that they weren't here in the middle of the night like this. The adults climbing the stairs one at a time began to make a fuss and talk amongst themselves.
So, not here?
Yeah, they're not here. This is definitely weird.
The village had just been thrown into chaos yesterday because of the mayor's disappearance. Then today, even Rika-chan and Sadako had. So, if Rika-chan dies, that's the end of the Furude line.
Yep.
And then without the mayor, Kimiyoshi basically has no...
No, he has kids. He's got a whole family.
He has a whole family, but they basically have no power
Yeah.
in anything. Sounds like the Sonozakis are creating a power vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
Just to slip right on in.
Mm-hmm.
Were they out playing somewhere together?
Can neither confirm nor deny what the Sonozaki plans are.
Are these just the random adults?
That can't be.
Their bicycles aren't here, though.
Where would they have gone so late at night?
Have they just not come back yet? Where did they go? The adults put forth various possibilities, and the house immediately devolved into a state of confusion. Eventually, Mion settled them down.
I don't want to believe it, but the mayor Kimiyoshi disappeared yesterday. We can't say that this is unrelated.
The adults' faces paled at Mion's declaration. Mine and Rena's did as well.
Let's see. They could have gone nearby for some tea or something, then accidentally fallen asleep. Whoever invited them might just not be able to wake them up at all, too. Let's eliminate that possibility first. Makino-san, please go around to the houses near the stream.
Keitaro.
Keitaro-san, go look near Ojaga Lake. Okamura, right? Okamura-san, you...
Mion promptly gave directions to the villagers. The adults followed them without hesitation, despite her age.
We'll remain here and call up anyone we can think of on the phone. Okay, everyone, you have your orders.
Got it.
The adults all roared in reply and pounded back down the stairs below. Yeah, she's the head of the Sonozaki, alright?
Wow, Mi-chan, you're not only a chairperson of the school, but Hinamizawa as well. Hinamizawa
No
too.
time for jokes. Hey, step aside. This old man is using the phone.
Mion grinned proudly, took the receiver, and got started. Rena gave Mion a trusting look, considering her dependable for doing all of this. My feelings, though, were a little more complicated, since her leadership seemed to be affirming the Sonozaki family successor impression that Shion and Oishi had given me. Stop right there, Keiichi Mayabara. None of that matters right now. The most important thing is to make sure that Rika-chan and Sadako are safe. Let's see. Couldn't there be a clue hinting at where they might have gone somewhere in this room? Still though, I wouldn't know what to look for anyway. If we tore the whole place apart and figured out what was different from before, we might be able to speculate, but there was nothing strange about this room, and there were no clues in sight. In the first place, I had never been here before. There was no way for me to know that this was different if I didn't know how the room usually looked. Hey, don't give up, Keiichi Mayabara. Stop thinking and start looking. For something. In search of something, I tried pulling open the dresser drawers and opened the windows. I didn't uncover anything meaningful, though. Rena, also unable to stand around doing nothing, was looking around the room like I was. Rena, I don't think you'll find Rika-chan by opening the refrigerator or cabinet underneath the sink.
I just thought they might be hiding. How?
As we were searching, it got noisy outside. Villagers were quickly assembling here, having heard the commotion. Of course, a lot of them were probably people Mion had called.
I'll go tell everyone what's going on. The police will be here sooner or later, too. We'll need to explain the situation to Oishi.
Mion began descending the stairs, and we followed her out to the front of the house. Oishi's in this chapter? There were already around 10 adults there, and all of them looked uneasy. I suddenly noticed that the old people from the shrine were here as well, and they were praying for Rika-chan's safety, rubbing their prayer beads. This had gotten bad. This wasn't just a problem between friends anymore.
Mion-chan, is it true that Rika-chan and Sadako-chan aren't anywhere to be found?
The villagers all formed a ring around Mion, swarming her. Mion raised her right hand, as if silently telling them all to calm down.
First, let's check every house according to the town's council's notification division and see if they're visiting anyone. After all, they could be fast asleep at someone's house and totally unaware that we're looking for them.
It would definitely be hard for someone to wake up Rika-chan if she had eaten a good, full meal and fallen asleep like a kitten afterwards.
Meow meow.
Oh, how nice it would be if that were the case.
I don't want to think about this, but it is also possible something bad has happened.
Mion's face grew remarkably more grim, and a wave of silence washed over the adults.
We should divide up the work, too. We'll go around to all the places we went last night while looking for the mayor. We'll go look around the dam construction site as best as we can. You guys go search around the school.
Right, let's get a move on. Come on, let's go.
All of you were up last night looking for the mayor. I know you're all low on sleep, but please do your best.
Got it.
With that as their signal, the adults scattered in every direction. I figured I should scatter somewhere as well, so I started walking unsteadily in a direction no one else had gone in. I was getting farther and farther from people. I didn't feel scared or anything, though. If someone were made to disappear, Shion and I would be first. It would have been perfectly normal for me to be scared of the dark. However, I didn't feel that way. Why was that? It was because tonight, someone had already disappeared. So nobody else would disappear tonight. It would take some time before I, exhausted as I was, would feel guilt at the cause of my own selfish sense of relief.
Yeah, there it is. Okay. I was concerned for a second there.